This video is sponsored by sellcashier.com. They compare iPhone prices on the internet and give you their instant quote and the most cash for your iPhone.
Hey guys, this is Edward Aquarium. So just the other day, you probably saw the unboxing video of this beautiful iPhone 10 by Apple. This is a 64 gigabyte variant. But what I want to show you today is I want to unbox this another beautiful iPhone 10, which is in a 256 gigabyte version. Not much is going to be different. You'll see in one of the next videos that there are some slight performance differences between these two as it results from the different memory capacity. But before I even get into the unboxing video, I actually want to reflect back and kind of look at the history of what Apple's been doing over the last many years. So along with the iPhone 10 that was released just recently, we also remember that the iPhone 8 came out just a little bit ago, and they would look somewhat similar, but not exactly. This is an 8, this is not a Plus, so that's why the camera module is different. But the glass backing and just the display quality overall, of course there's no button on the 10, but this is still an impressive device. I talked a little bit about in the past about whether you should upgrade from an 8 to a 10, and it's only if you want to get this beautiful screen. If you do have an 8, you won't see any performance differences between the 8 and the 10. But this is a space gray, and this right here is a 7 that's actually in black, not jet black, just black, and you don't see the glass backing over here. Otherwise, the iOS has been upgraded on this one to the same version. So this is kind of what they look like side by side. So there is some evolution here that has happened over a very short period of time of about a year. But then we'll look all the way back and we can look at the 6. So you don't have the glass backing, of course, and of course the performance is lower just because it's been so many years since this has ever been released. It's a very interesting device, but this is what the space gray used to look like in the past. So just for the comparison. And then, of course, I'm going to say it's obsolete. Don't know if I like the size anymore just because the larger screens are so much more convenient to use and it's just everything is more accessible. But I would probably get an egg thrown at me if I was on stage by somebody who has the iPhone SE. But this is a 5S, which looks exactly identical to an SE, and this is also space gray. So if you look at this beautiful lineup, this is some history right there, and it's very interesting to see the color progression. Just disregard this for a second, and this is where the progression happens, what the space gray used to look like and what it looks like nowadays. Now, without further ado, moving these to the side, we're going to get into the unboxing of the actual iPhone 10, which is the newest one, and it is a 256 gigabyte version in space gray. And it's very easily unpackaged, like all of the new Apple devices nowadays. Very good quality box. We've seen that before, and all these standard inserts. So this is it. This is the space gray iPhone 10, 256 gigabytes. So turn it on. And while it's turning on, I'm gonna take off the protective covering and set it aside for a minute. You won't see anything new in here. You have your charger, the wall charger with the lightning cable, and also the headphones. So this is standard pretty much all across all these iPhones that you saw just about a minute ago. I'm going to quickly set it up, and we're going to run through some of the settings and just kind of see what it looks like. And what it's doing right now is it's giving us the rundown of how the new interface works without a button. And I'll get back to the button story in just a second once I turn up the brightness a little bit. And let's just take a look at this. This is beautiful. This is absolutely a high quality finish that you would expect from Apple. I mean, all across the previous generations, whether you take an 8 or you take a 7 or whatever the device is going to be, they're all very beautifully made. The screen will come on when you pick up the phone, and it just does that. So let's just take a look and compare these two. There's going to be no difference between the two 10s and different capacities other than this color right here. So in my opinion, the space gray looks much better. It's definitely a better finish, and it just looks better all around. And I'm gonna come out of the calendar. But here's another interesting historical fact. So if you're looking at an iPhone 10, this is pretty much the first iPhone that has come out without a button. So up until the iPhone 8 came out, there is the button. It's always been there from the time that the 4 was there. The very first iPhone came out, there's always a button, which I was never a fan of. So for the first time, Apple finally got rid of that concept, or at least tried getting rid of it, and we'll see how popular these are going to be over time. And finally, you don't have to deal with the button, which I'm not a big fan of iOS per se, but at the same time, the fact that there's no button, I really like it, because you're getting this huge screen. Now remember, Apple has never been a company that was an entrepreneur and trying new solutions and trying to implement things. They would wait for a few years before trying something new, just like this beautiful OLED display. Face ID, by the way, finally came to these phones, and it's great. You can unlock it almost instantaneously by just looking at the screen. And let's take a look at the outside right now. Once again, very slim, very beautifully built, but I think it's an overkill of a phone for over $1,000 actually. This was I believe it was $1,250 altogether with taxes, and it's an overkill of a phone. It's probably the most breakable iPhone that's ever been created. So if you're getting this, make sure you invest into a really good case to protect it, and probably a screen protector as well, and possibly even insurance through your carrier if it's available. But as far as the layout, as far as the controls go, certainly you have a typical app store that's going to load in just a second. But I think the more interesting thing to note here are not the apps that come standard with the iPhone, because it's all pretty much the same on all of them. What's interesting is the interface. So if you have the settings open and you want to come out of the settings to your home screen, that's all you got to do, is drop it back into the home screen. However, if you have settings open and you want to come back into a list of open apps, that's what you do. In order to close them, you hold them down and you click on the little minus icon in the upper left hand corner. This is personally not my favorite interface here, just simply because it would take a long time to close all of them instead of swiping them up or swiping them down like some of the other operating systems have or used to have. But I certainly like this, and if you swipe down from the top of the screen, you're getting a quick access menu where you can adjust brightness, you can adjust your volume, or change some of the settings, use your flashlight, and so on. Alright guys, I hope you really enjoyed this video. This is more informational than anything else. Again, if you're considering buying one of these iPhone 10s, it is costly, I can tell you up front, and whether it's worth it or not, it's up to you. I would suggest that if you do have a 7, you should probably stick with it unless you really want a bigger screen. If you have an 8, also the same. If you want to get a larger screen, you should upgrade. Other than that, there's no performance difference between these three that you will be noticing in real life. As always, thank you for watching, and please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done so. I will see you in my next video very soon. I wanted to tell you about sellcashier.com. So you just got your new iPhone. What will you do with your old one? You may be thinking of selling it on eBay, Craigslist, and so on, and it is definitely a hassle. Now you don't have to do that. Now you can sell it through sellcashier.com. They compare the actual prices of iPhones and give you the best price for your iPhone that you are trying to sell. And the good thing is that you are guaranteed the best rate. You also get a free shipping label. Thank you for watching, and please check out sellcashier.com.